How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, May 20th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Wednesday, May 19th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Of course, getting started with yesterday's NBA play-in matchups, looking at both play-in games in the Western Conference to decide who is going to be the 7th spot. Starting off with the 9th and 10th place game in Memphis, the 9th seed Memphis Grizzlies would beat the 10th seed San Antonio Spurs 100-96 after they outscored the Spurs by 19 in the first quarter. The Spurs would try to come back, but it simply wouldn't be enough, as with this loss, the San Antonio Spurs are the second team eliminated from the NBA play-in series. For the Spurs, their leading scorer out of their starters was their starting small forward, DeMar DeRozan. He finished with 20 points in 38 minutes as he shot 5 for 21 from the field and 10 for 11 from the foul line. And off the bench, their small forward, Rudy Gay, the former Memphis Grizzly, would finish with 20 points and 7 rebounds in 27 minutes as he shot 8 for 21 from the field and 1 for 2 from the foul line. For the Memphis Grizzlies in this matchup, their leading scorer was their starting small forward out of Oregon, Dillon Brooks. He finished with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals in 40 minutes as he shot 10 for 21 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. Their starting center, Jonas Valanciunas, would finish with 23 points, 23 rebounds, and 3 blocks in 38 minutes as he shot 10 for 16 from the field and 3 for 6 from the foul line. And their elite starting point guard, John Morant, in his very first play-in game, would finish with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 41 minutes as the Murray State product would shoot 8 for 20 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 2 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the 9th seed Memphis Grizzlies will face off against the 8th seed Golden State Warriors following the Warriors' loss to the Lakers. And the San Antonio Spurs, like I said, are going to be the second team behind the Charlotte Hornets to be eliminated from playoff contention. Looking out to the second game of the night, the 7th seed Los Angeles Lakers faced off against the 8th seed Golden State Warriors. And the 7th seed Los Angeles Lakers would come back from behind after trailing by 13 at the half to beat the Golden State Warriors by 3. 103-100, like I said, after outscoring the Warriors by 11 in the third quarter, and then 5 in the fourth, 16 total in the second half. For the Golden State Warriors in this matchup, their leading scorer was their goated starting point guard, Adam Davidson, Stephen Curry. He finished with 37 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 turnovers in 41 minutes as he shot 12 for 23 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the foul line. Also in the starting lineup, their starting small forward, Andrew Wiggins, would finish with 21 points in 39 minutes as he shot 10 for 18 from the field and 1 for 5 from 3. For the Lakers in this matchup, their leading scorer would be their elite starting power forward, Anthony Davis. He finished with 25 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals in 42 minutes as he shot 10 for 24 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. And their goated starting small forward, LeBron James, the 4-time NBA Finals MVP, would finish with 22 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 steals in 35 minutes, along with the game-winning go-ahead jump shot as he shot 7 for 17 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 6 for 9 from the foul line after LeBron James's all-time historic three-pointer to give the Lakers this win. The 7-seed Lakers will face off against the 2-seed Phoenix Suns in the playoff in that first playoff series. And with this loss, the 8th seed Golden State Warriors will face off against the 9th seed Memphis Grizzlies after the Grizzlies won their game against the San Antonio Spurs, just to give a sense of where these two teams are in the NBA. Looking at what's going on today within the NBA play-in series, it will be the Eastern Conference's 8th seed game as the Washington Wizards, who came in with the 8th best record, are going to face off against the Indiana Pacers, who came in with the 9th seed, but they both had the same regular season record. This game will be on TNT as Domantas Sabonis is going to lead the Indiana Pacers against the NBA's triple-double king and the NBA's runner-up in scoring, Bradley Beal. So that'll be a well-anticipated matchup, and the winner of this game will face off against the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Staying within the arena, but taking a quick look at what's going on in the NHL with their playoff picture, starting with the first game in the North. The Edmonton Oilers hosted the Winnipeg Jets, and the Jets were able to beat the Oilers 4-1 in this Northern Division matchup, which would be between the second seed Oilers would get beat by the third seed Jets, and the Jets now take a 1-0 series lead. Taking a look outside of the playoffs, as the Calgary Flames were able to beat the Vancouver Canucks 6-2 at home, and now officially the North Division season is over, as the Flames will finish their season 22 points behind the first place Toronto Maple Leafs. Jumping out to the East Division, the Boston Bruins were able to beat the Washington Capitals. The third seed Bruins were able to take a 2-1 series lead after beating the Capitals 3-2 in double overtime. With this win, like I said, they now carry a 2-1 advantage as they will host the next game in Boston. And last but not least, jumping out to the Central Division for the 1-4 matchup, the 1 seed Carolina Hurricanes would host the 4 seed Nashville Predators, and the Hurricanes would beat the Predators 3-0 to pick up their 36th win of the season. To pick up their second win of the series. Now Carolina leads the series 2-0. Looking into today's playoff matches, starting up at 6:30 on USA, it will be a Central Division 2-3 matchup, as the 3 seed Tampa Bay Lightning will host the 2 seed Florida Panthers. Currently, the 3 seed Lightning lead the series 2-0. Looking out to the East Division, it will be a 1-4 matchup, as the 4 seed New York Islanders are going to host the 1 seed Pittsburgh Penguins on NBC Sports Network. As the series is currently tied at 1. Both teams looking to pick up their second win of the series. At 7:30 on CBC, the 1 seed Toronto Maple Leafs out of the North Division are going to host the 4th seed Montreal Canadiens. So that'll be a pretty big matchup between those two teams, as it will get this series started. And then looking out west, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the West Division's second-seeded team, are going to go to Minnesota to face off against the Wild, and this series is currently tied at 1. That is what playoff hockey is looking like coming into today's matchups. And taking a look at what's going on in the MLB. First, starting in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins would host the Chicago White Sox, and the White Sox would come back from being down 1-0 and beat the Twins 2-1, as Luis Garcia's go-ahead RBI single would give the White Sox what they needed to pick up this win. For the Minnesota Twins, their starting pitcher Matt Shoemaker would end up picking up the start in the loss. He would allow 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. He struck out 2 on the day. With this loss, Shoemaker is 2-5 as a starting pitcher for the Twins. And in their batting lineup, the only player with a hit or 2 hits was their elite designated hitter Nelson Cruz. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 10th home run of the season. Like I said, the team was only held to 2 hits, both of them by Nelson Cruz, and a lot of that can be attributed to the Chicago White Sox starting pitcher, Lucas Giolito. He would allow 1 earned run in 8 innings pitched as he struck out 11. With this win, Giolito is now 3-4 as a starting pitcher for the White Sox, and with this loss, their elite closer, Liam Hendriks, would strike out 2 in 1 inning pitch as he allowed no earned runs, picking up his 9th save of the season. And the only player on their team with more than 1 hit was their center fielder, Luis Garcia. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run on the day. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 26-16. That is the best record in the American League Central, and win percentage-wise, that is the second best record in the MLB, as they currently trail the San Francisco Giants in win percentage. They currently sit 2.5 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in the division, and with this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 14-27. That is the worst record in the American League Central, as they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 11.5 games in the division. Jumping out to San Diego, the San Diego Padres would host the Colorado Rockies, and the Padres would beat the Rockies 3-0 after giving Joe Musgrove his 4th win of the season and giving Mark Melancon his 15th save for the Colorado Rockies. The start and the loss will go to Chichi Gonzalez. Gonzalez would allow 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. With this loss, Gonzalez is now 2-2 as a starting pitcher this season. And for the San Diego Padres, the start and the win would go to Joe Musgrove. Musgrove would allow no earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 11 on the day, allowing 2 hits. And the save would go to Mark Melancon after allowing no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched. Musgrove is now 4-4 as a starting pitcher, and Melancon now has 15 saves on the season, which I believe leads the major leagues. And then in their batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Fernando Tatis Jr., would be the only Padres player with more than 1 hit. He went 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 10th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the San Diego Padres are now 27-17. That is the second best record in the National League West, and that is the second best record in the National League. They currently trail the San Francisco Giants by half a game in the division. And with this loss, the Colorado Rockies are now 15-29. That is the worst record in the National League West, as they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 12 and a half games in the division. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds would host the San Francisco Giants, and the Giants would beat the Reds 4-0 to pick up their 27th win of the season, which to give them the best overall record in the major leagues. For the Reds, the start and the loss will go to Wade Miley. He allowed 1 earned run and 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, Wade Miley is now 4-4 as the starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, and nobody on the team was able to log more than 1 hit on the day, and a lot of that can be attributed to the San Francisco Giants starting pitcher, Kevin Gausman. He would allow no earned runs and only 1 hit in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8 on the day. With this win, Kevin Gausman is now 4-0 as the starting pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, and in their batting lineup, their future Hall of Fame catcher and former National League MVP, Buster Posey, would go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs on the day. And then their shortstop, Mauricio Dubon, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run on the day. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 27-16, currently holding the best record in the major leagues, as they currently sit half a game ahead of the second place San Diego Padres in their division. And with this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are now 19-22. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central, as they currently trail the first place St. Louis Cardinals by 5 games in the division. Jumping out to Baltimore, the Orioles hosted the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Rays were able to beat the Orioles 9-7 after putting up 3 separate innings of 3 runs. For the Orioles in this matchup, the start would go to John Means. Means would allow 4 earned runs and 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. The loss, however, would go to their penultimate relief pitcher, Paul Fry. Paul Fry would allow 3 earned runs and 0.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he is 0-1 as a relief pitcher for the Orioles. In their batting lineup, their designated hitter, Trey Mancini, would go 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 8th and 9th home runs of the season yesterday. Their catcher, Pedro Severino, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI for himself. Their shortstop, Freddie Galvis, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 5th home run of the season. And then their first baseman, Ryan Mountcastle, will go 2 for 4. For Tampa Bay, the start would be given to Ryan Yarbrough. Yarbrough would allow 3 earned runs and 6 innings pitched. 6 total runs allowed, but 3 of them were earned. He struck out 2 on the day, and the win would go to the Rays' first relief pitcher, Ryan Thompson. He would allow no earned runs and 1 inning pitch as he struck out all 3 of his outs were strikeouts. With this win, he is now 3-2 as a relief pitcher. And the save would go to Pete Fairbanks. Fairbanks would allow 1 earned run and 1 inning pitched, and with this save, that's his first of the season. And for the Tampa Bay Rays in their lineup, their elite left fielder, Randy Arozarena, would go 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 5th and 6th home run of the season yesterday. Their center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, would end up going 2 for 4 he would go 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs on the day. And then their pinch hitting first baseman Ji-Man Choi would end up going 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs on the day. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 25-19. That is the second best record in the American League East, as they now trail the Boston Red Sox by a game in the division. And with this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 17-25. That is the worst record in the American League East, as they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 8 games in the division. Jumping out to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies hosted the Miami Marlins, and the Marlins were able to beat the Phillies 3-1, giving Rogers his 6th win of the season as a starter. But first, for the Philadelphia Phillies, the start and the loss will go to Zach Eflin. Eflin would allow 2 earned runs and 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. With this loss, Eflin is 2-3 on the season. Their first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, would go 2 for 4 on the day. And then their shortstop, Ronald Torreyes, would end up going 2 for 3 on the day for the team. For the Miami Marlins, the start and the win would end up going to Trevor Rogers. Rogers would allow 1 earned run and 7.2 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, he is 6-2 on the season as a starter. And then the save would end up going to Emi Garcia. Garcia would allow no earned runs and 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. This would be his 8th save of the season. And in their batting lineup, their center fielder, Adam Duvall, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI. Their left fielder, Corey Dickerson, will go 2-for-4 as well. Those are the only two players who had more than one hit. And with this win, the Miami Marlins are now 19-23. That is the fourth best record in the National League East, as they now trail the New York Mets by 3.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 22-21. That is the second best record in the National League East, as they now trail the New York Mets by a game in the division. Jumping out to Atlanta, the Atlanta Braves hosted the New York Mets and were able to come back from behind and beat the Mets off of a walk-off solo home run on the first pitch at the bottom of the ninth by Ronald Acuna Jr., his first career walk-off home run. For the New York Mets in this matchup, their starting pitcher would be David Peterson. He would allow 3 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched. He struck out 5. He would not get the decision. The loss, however, would go to the New York Mets closer, Jacob Barnes. He allowed 1 earned run in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2 on the day. With this loss, he is now 1-1 as a relief pitcher this season. And no one on the team was able to finish with more than 1 hit, as the only home run of the day will go to Jonathan Villar, their third baseman. He would go 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run on the day for the Mets. For the Atlanta Braves, the start went to Charlie Morton. He allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. The win would go to Will Smith, the Atlanta Braves closer, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. With this win, Will Smith is now 1-4 as a relief pitcher for Atlanta. Their elite right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., will go 1-for-3 with 2 walks, an RBI, and a run, as he would go on to hit his 13th home run of the season. Their elite first baseman and reigning National League MVP, Freddie Freeman, would go 2-for-4. Their third baseman, Austin Riley, would go 2-for-3 with 2 runs. And then their shortstop, Dansby Swanson, will go 2-for-4 for himself. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 20-23. That is the third best record in the National League East, as they now trail the New York Mets by 3 games. They both have 20 wins, but the Braves have 6 more losses than the Mets at the moment. With this loss, the Mets, like I just said, are now 20-17, holding the best record in the National League East, as they now sit 1 game ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies at the moment. Jumping out to Florida, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Boston Red Sox, and after the Red Sox put up 6 runs in the first 2 innings, they were able to beat the Blue Jays 7-3. For the Blue Jays in this matchup, the start and the loss will go to Ross Stripling. He allowed 6 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3 on the day. With this loss, Ross Stripling is now 0-3. Their second baseman, Marcus Semien, will go 2-for-3 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 10th home run of the season. And then their right fielder, Teoscar Hernandez, will go 2-for-3. And the only other player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, who in this matchup was Reese McGuire. Reese McGuire would go 2-for-3 with a run on the day. For the Boston Red Sox, the start and the win went to Garrett Richards, who allowed 2 earned runs in 6.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5 on the day. Their center fielder, Kike Hernandez, will go 3-for-5 with an RBI and 2 runs for himself as he hit his 5th home run of the season. Their right fielder, also from the Dodgers, Alex Verdugo, will go 2-for-5 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 6th home run of the season. Their elite designated hitter, JD Martinez, would go 1-for-5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 11th home run of the season. Their shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, would go 2-for-4 with a run. Their third baseman, Rafael Devers, would end up going 2-for-4 for himself. And with this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 26-18. That is the best record in the American League East, as they now sit a game ahead of the second-place Tampa Bay Rays. And with this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 23-18. That is the third best record in the American League East, as they now trail the Boston Red Sox by a game and a half in the division. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals will beat the Cubs 4-3 to give their goated starting pitcher his 4th win of the season. For the Chicago Cubs, the start and the loss went to Jake Arrieta. Arrieta would allow 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 2. As the 2016 World Series winner is now 4-4 on the season as a starting pitcher following this loss. The only player for the Cubs that finished with more than 1 hit was their left fielder, Jock Peterson. He went 2-for-4 on the day for himself. And then their elite shortstop, Javier Baez, would end up going... or their pinch-hitting elite shortstop, Javier Baez, to go 1-for-2 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 10th home run of the season. For the Washington Nationals, the start and the win went to their goated starting pitcher, Max Scherzer, who allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 8 batters on the day. With this win, Max Scherzer is now 4-2 on the season, and the save went to Brad Hand. Brad Hand would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 3 batters. All 3 of his outs were strikeouts. That would be his 5th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Trey Turner, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their elite right fielder, Juan Soto, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the day. And then their center fielder, Victor Robles, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 7th double of the season. With this win, the Washington Nationals are now 17-22. That is the worst record in the National League East as they now trail the New York Mets by 4 games in the division. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 21-21. That is the second best record in the National League Central as they now trail the first place St. Louis Cardinals by 3.5 games in the division. Jumping out to St. Louis, the St. Louis Cardinals were able to beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 8-5 after they scored 6 of their 8 in the first 2 innings. For the Pittsburgh Pirates in this matchup, the start and the loss will go to Trevor Cahill. Cahill would allow 4 earned runs when 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. With the loss, he is now 1-5 on the season as a starting pitcher for the Pirates. Their second baseman, Adam Frazier, would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their shortstop, who in this matchup was Kevin Newman, would go 2 for 5 on the day. Their right fielder, Gregory Polanco, would go 2 for 4, 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the season. And for the St. Louis Cardinals, the start and the win would go to their elite starting pitcher, Jack Flaherty. He allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitches. He struck out 7 on the day. With this win, he is now 8-0 as the starting pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And the save would be given to Alex Reyes, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitches. He struck out 3 batters. All 3 of his outs were strikeouts. And in the batting lineup, their second baseman, Tommy Edman, would end up going 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 7th double of the season. Their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, would go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and those are the only 2 players with more than 1 hit for the team. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 25-18. That is the best record in the National League Central. And win percentage-wise, they are tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the 3rd best record in the entire National League. With this loss, and also within the division, they sit 3.5 games ahead of the Chicago Cubs, just for reference. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates now are 17-15, holding the worst record in the National League Central. They now trail the first place St. Louis Cardinals by 7.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers would host the New York Yankees, and Corey Kluber would pick up a no-hitter against his former team, for which he only played 1 inning. For the Texas Rangers in this matchup, the start and the loss would end up going to Hyunjin Yang. Yang would allow 2 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he is now 0-1 on the day as no one on the team was able to log a single hit, and that can be attributed to Corey Kluber, the elite starting pitcher and former American Cy Young for the New York Yankees. He would allow no earned runs in 9 innings pitched, he would allow no hits, and he would only walk 1 batter as he struck out 9 in those 9 innings. With this win, Corey Kluber is now 4-2 on the season. This is the 2nd straight day in which a no-hitter has happened. Of course, there was a no-hitter yesterday, and the no-hitter yesterday would, of course, come from Spencer Turnbull for the Tigers against the Mariners. This time, it's someone completely new. And in their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their elite shortstop, Gleyber Torres. He went 2 for 2 on the day with a walk. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 24-19. That is the 4th best record in the American League East as they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 1.5 games in the division alongside the Toronto Blue Jays. And then with this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 19-26. That is the worst record in the American League West as they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 7.5 games in the division. And jumping out to LA, the Los Angeles Angels hosted the Cleveland Indians. The Indians would come from behind to pick up a 3-2 win, scoring their 3rd run of the 6th inning. For the Los Angeles Angels in this matchup, the start would go to Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani would allow 2 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The loss would go to the Angels' first relief pitcher, Tony Watson, who allowed 1 earned run in 0.2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, he is now 2-2 as the relief pitcher for the Angels. And the only player who was able to log an RB, or no one on the team was able to get more than 1 hit, but Jared Walsh should go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 8th home run of the season. For the Cleveland Indians, the start and the win would go to Aaron Savali. He would allow 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, he is 6-1 as a starting pitcher this season, and the save will be given to James Karinchak, who struck out 2 batters in the last inning pitch, picking up his 5th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their designated hitter, Franmil Reyes, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI, and the only other player with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, who went 2 for 3 for the day. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 23-18. That is the second best record in the American League Central, as they now sit 2.5 games behind the first place Chicago White Sox in the division. With this loss, the LA Angels are now 18-24. That is the 4th best record in the American League West, as they now trail the A's by 7 games in the division. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals hosted the Milwaukee Brewers. They were able to pull up a 6-4 win to pick up their 20th win of the season. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start would end up going to Corbin Burns. Burns would allow 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9. The loss, however, would go to the Milwaukee Brewers' first relief pitcher, J.P. Fire Ison. He would allow 2 earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 1. Sorry if I butchered the name, by the way. He blew his 2nd save of the season, and with this loss, he is now 0-2 as a relief pitcher this season. Their second baseman, Colton Wong, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their catcher, Omar Narvaez, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI for himself as well. And then for the Kansas City Royals, the start will be given to Brad Keller. Keller would allow 3 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4 on the day. The win would go to the Royals' second relief pitcher, who in this matchup was Scott Barlow. Scott Barlow would allow no earned runs in .2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, he is now 2-1 as a relief pitcher. And then Josh Staumont would pick up the save as he struck out 1 batter in 1 inning pitch, allowing no earned runs, but 1 run total. That would be his 5th save of the season. And in their batting lineup, the only player who had more than 1 hit would be their third baseman, Kelvin Gutierrez. Kelvin Gutierrez would go 2 for 3 with a run on the day. And with this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 20-22. That is the second best record in the American League Central, as they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 6 games in the division. And with this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 21-22. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central, as they now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by 4 games in the division. Jumping out to Oakland, the Oakland Athletics hosted the Houston Astros, and the Astros were able to beat the A's 8-1 after scoring 3 runs in the 7th and 8th inning consecutively. For the Oakland A's in this matchup, the start and the loss will go to Frankie Montas. Montas would allow 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, he is now 5-3 as a starting pitcher this season. And for the Houston Astros, the start and the win will go to Zach Greinke. Greinke would allow 1 earned run in 8 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, he is now 4-1 as a starting pitcher for the Astros. And in this batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, will go 2 for 6 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 5th home run of the season. Their left fielder, Michael Brantley, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their elite third baseman, Alex Bregman, would go 0 for 2 as he walked 3 times and finished with 3 runs. Their first baseman, Yuli Gurriel, would go 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run. Their shortstop, Carlos Correa, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And then their catcher, Miles Straw, would go 3 for 5 with a run. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 25-18. That is the second best record in the American League West, as they now trail the Oakland Athletics by half a game in the division. With this loss, the Oakland A's are now 26-18. They currently hold the best record in the AL West, and they currently sit half a game ahead of the Houston Astros, like I just said. Jumping out to Dodger Stadium, the defending champs LA Dodgers hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks. And after trailing 2-1 going into the bottom of the 7th, the Los Angeles Dodgers would pull ahead. It would be a Will Smith sacrifice fly to bring 2 home, and then Mookie Betts' ground rule double would put the Dodgers up by 4. Or put them up 4-2, For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start would end up going to Matt Peacock. Matt Peacock would allow 1 earned run in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. And then their loss would go to their second relief pitcher, Joe Mantiply. Mantiply would allow 2 earned runs in .1 inning pitch as he struck out 1. With this loss, he is now 0-1, and he blew his first save of the season. And then in their lineup, the only player with both the RBIs was their third baseman, Eduardo Escobar. He went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run, hitting his 10th home run of the season. For the LA Dodgers, the start went to their go-to starting pitcher, Clayton Kershaw. He allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. The win would go to their first relief pitcher, Joe Kelly, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. And picking up his 9th save of the season was Kenley Janssen, who struck out 2 batters in the last inning pitch. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Max Muncy, went 2 for 3 with a run on the day. He was the only player that had more than one hit for the Dodgers. And with this win, the LA Dodgers are now 25-18. That is the third best record in the National League West, as they now trail the first place San Francisco Giants by 2 games in the division. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks now have the fourth best record in the National League West, as they now trail the Giants by 9.5 games in the division so far. Jumping out to Seattle, last but not least, the Mariners would host the Detroit Tigers, and following Turnbull's no-hitter, Tariq Skubal would pick up his first win of the season after the Tigers beat the Mariners 6-2. The Mariners would score the first 2 runs of the game, and then the Tigers would just turn it all back around. For the Seattle Mariners, the start would end up going to Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert would allow 3 earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched, as he struck out 2 on the day. With this loss, he is now 0-2 as a starting pitcher. And in their batting lineup, the only player with more than one hit was their shortstop, J.P. Crawford, who went 2 for 4. Both the RBIs would end up going to Kyle Seager, who went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run with his 2-run home run in the first. And for the Detroit Tigers, the start and the win would go to Tariq Skubal, who would allow 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitches. He struck out 9. With this win, Skubal is now 1-6 as a starting pitcher for the Tigers. And in their batting lineup, their left fielder, Robbie Grossman, would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their center fielder, Harold Castro, would go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. And the only other player with more than one hit was their right fielder, Nomar Mazara. Mazara would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run on the day. And with this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 17-26. That is the fourth best record in the American League Central, as they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 9.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are now 21-23. That is the third best record in the American League West, as they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 5 games in the division. Right now, with that said and done, that is what the MLB is looking like going into today's matchups. Today is Thursday, which is looked at mostly as a travel day, so Thursdays will have less games than the other days. But first, starting from the top, at 12:35, Tyler Mahle and the Cincinnati Reds are going to host Johnny Cueto and the San Francisco Giants, holding the MLB's best record. At the same time, Dean Kramer and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Rich Hill and the Tampa Bay Rays. At 2:05, Dane Dunning and the Texas Rangers are going to host Domingo Germán and the New York Yankees. At 2:20, Trevor Williams and the Chicago Cubs are going to host Joe Ross and the Washington Nationals. At 3:37, Cole Irvin and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Luis Garcia and the Houston Astros. At 4:07 is Game 1 of the LA Angels doubleheader, but as Alex Cobb will face off against Lewis Thorpe as they face off against the Minnesota Twins. In the second game, Griffin Canning for the Angels is going to face off against Jose Berrios of the Minnesota Twins. At 7:05, Vince Velasquez and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to host Sandy Alcantara and the Miami Marlins at 7:05. At 7:20, Drew Smyly and the Atlanta Braves are going to face off against Will Crow and the Pittsburgh Pirates on ESPN+. At 7:37, Steven Matz and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox. And last but not least, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the defending champs, are going to host Merrill Kelly and the Arizona Diamondbacks at 10:10 tonight. With that said, last but not least, I'm going to take a look outside of the U.S. Just to take a look at what's going on in the world of soccer. Starting in the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur hosted Aston Villa, and in their final home game of the season, Aston Villa will beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-1. With this loss, Tottenham is now holding the 7th spot in the Premier League, as there's a very good, because they sit 3 points behind West Ham, there could be a very good chance that they miss out on even Europa League next season. And then Arsenal is there to beat Crystal Palace 3-1, but with this win, Arsenal also holds the 9th best record in the Premier League. So not many games that necessarily matter, but West Ham United did beat West Brom to jump into the 6th spot to clinch Europa League competition. In the Italian Coppa d'Italia final, Juventus would end up being Atalanta 2-1. Even though Juventus may not even make Champions League, they will still go home with the trophy this year. The game-winning goal will come from their Italian forward Federico Chiesa in the 73rd minute. And in the French Coupe de France final, PSG was able to beat AS Monaco, as Mauro Icardi and Kylian Mbappe would combine to beat AS Monaco and raise up yet another trophy, for another French domestic trophy for the French powerhouse. And there's not really much going on today, but that's roughly everything going on with sports for today. Thursday, May 20th, 2021 in this quarantine. Once all of today's matchups and exhibitions are finished, I will come back for tomorrow's episode for Friday, May 21st, 2021. But until then, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and and of course, I will come with more episodes after this. Please stay tuned. This is The Elite, and I'm James Sims. Thanks for listening to my piece, and peace out.